So this is just a reminder of negative thought soup. So as you might remember, that negative thought soup is the kinds of thoughts that come into our head whenever we're feeling sad or down or worried or angry about something, or whenever our mind perceives that there's some kind of problem in our environment. And pretty soon we have a whole lot of pretty negative thoughts about how we see the world. And these thoughts are designed to keep us safe. Our brain is trying to get us to run away from things that might hurt us. It's trying to get us to attack or to hide or to keep our tribe safe by staying away from people if we're sick. Our brain is trying to do the only thing it knows how by telling us this stuff about the world. But the truth is, not everything our brain tells us is 100% true. Sometimes it's really important to be on the lookout for the kinds of things our brain might tell us when we're in a bad mood, so that we can just get ready to step back from it. So one of the things that I like to do is to try and be on the lookout for particular kinds of negative thinking. So I'm going to show you 5 particular kinds of negative thinking, and I've got some pretty special graphics here that I think you'll appreciate. Here's the first one. Mind reading. Mind reading is the kind of thinking that we do when we see somebody and we're feeling down or worried, and so we assume that they're thinking negatively of us. Or we might write something on Facebook or just think about a person and start to think about, yeah, they don't really like me that much. Mind reading thoughts are things like, that teacher, they hate me. Those people over there, I think they're laughing at me. That friend of mine, they seem like they like me, but deep down I think they think that I'm boring. This is the kind of things that your brain does, my brain does. It's just human nature. Another kind of thought that our brain gives us some of the time is ignoring the positive. Ignoring the positive is when we have a whole lot of things going on in our lives which are good, and yet whenever we're feeling sad or down, we kind of forget them. We can't really identify what they are, and sometimes we actually forget that they happen, and sometimes we just think that it's not that good after all. You know, we might get good grades, and then we get one bad grade and we focus on that. People say nice stuff about us, people are nice to us, and then one person isn't particularly nice, and we forget all of the good things and all of the good friendships that we have. Another kind of thinking that our brain does is this: future predicting. That's a crystal ball, right? You knew that. Future predicting is when we predict the future in a negative way. So whenever we're feeling down or anxious or upset about things, often our brain will tell us bad things are going to happen. I'm definitely going to fail this test. There's no way I'm going to get into that university course. There's no way I'm going to get a job. This day is going to be terrible, etc., etc. If we can think of something bad that's going to happen, then it comes into our head. Another kind of thinking that mistake we make is all or nothing thinking, sometimes called black and white thinking. We call all or nothing thinking black or white thinking because it's a tendency that we have when we're feeling down or worried or upset or angry to see things in very simplistic terms. So we see things in all black or all white rather than seeing the shades of grey in between. So for example, we might say, the whole holiday has been ruined if something goes wrong. Or we might say, I'm completely stupid if we don't do particularly well on a test. Or we might say something like, I don't like anything about myself, if we're having a bad hair day. And the last one I've got is catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when things that aren't great happen, but instead of us saying to ourselves, yeah, maybe this wasn't great, we say it was terrible, awful, end of the world as we know it. So catastrophizing comes along when, maybe we don't do very well in a sporting event, or we don't get a job that we apply for, and all of a sudden our brain starts telling us we can't cope with this. This is terrible. There's no way we can do anything about it. Nothing good is going to come of it, and we might as well be dead. Catastrophizing happens to all of us, just like all of these kinds of thoughts. It's not like we can switch this part of our brain off, it just happens. But it's a good idea to be able to step back and realize our brain isn't always our friend. It doesn't always tell us the stuff that's true, and if we can have this awareness and understanding, then it can help us have a bit of perspective and sometimes feel a bit better.